get moving. Question the purpose of my existence. Is there more to life than appearance? What am I living for? Why am I here? An encounter
Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Ryan and this is the first show of So You Want to Be a VFX Artist. This is a continuation of my Blender tutorials, but however, we're going to be discussing some really cool stuff in this tutorial. Blender and more Blender, because that's what we're going to be looking at. And not only that, but I've gotten myself more advanced in, I've challenged myself to do things that I've always wanted to do in Blender. Over the course of my holidays, I did those things. And once I've done the holiday stuff, we'll look at other things that we've done. So like e.g. right now I'm looking, this week we are doing a challenge where me and another guy called Victor, who is only 14 years old, we've got a challenge to model a character, rig him up, and make him do 9 different movements like backflip, jump, run, a dance move or something like that, and that is due on Friday. Today's Tuesday and I'm still working on him. I've modeled him, but anyway, more about that later. So those are the things that we're going to be doing on this So You Want to Be a VFX Artist. I want to emphasize that we are working with Blender. I won't be working with After Effects or showing you any other things, but except for the challenges that I will do, that I will put myself onto, and I will show you the process. And the first one that I've done this year, which is something that I've always wanted to do, okay, just specifically, and I've wanted to do it for about 5 years ago. That was the time that I remember that I wanted to get 3D tracking right, and I never got it right. It turned out weird, never really worked out, and eventually, you just give up. But then what you do is you end up doing what's called 2D tracking. If you got DaVinci Resolve, okay, Resolve, yes, DaVinci Resolve. Within it, there is tracking software as well. I use DaVinci Resolve, I use Blender, and for editing I use Final Cut. So we're gonna look at some of that stuff. But anyway, 3D tracking, I've always wanted to get it right, and finally I had a go at it again, and I actually got it right, and then I got it right again. And then after I got it right again, I got it right again. I'm sure Blender has advanced their 3D tracking, their algorithm and stuff like that, to make 3D tracking a lot easier. And so I'm going to take you through the process that I found works for 3D camera tracking. Alright, I've looked at multiple tutorials, I've tried some stuff, tried other stuff, found other things didn't work, but other things did work. Alright, and so let's go through a couple of things that I did find out, and that is to do with your camera settings. So number one, all right, make sure that your, let me get my DSLR. All right, so if you've got a DSLR, you want to have a look at some of your settings. And one of the first things that I discovered, because I didn't get camera tracking immediately right when I tried it now again, there were things that failed, and so I had adjusted certain things. And the first thing you want to do is your shutter speed. Now what your shutter speed basically is how quick or how slow when you got it in camera mode, how long or how slow it's going to keep the shutter open. When you use it in video mode, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the amount of scans basically that it's picking off the data, the data off the chip of your image sensor. And so for example, I shoot in 25 FPS, 25 frames per second. So I have to make sure that number is within basically the multiples of my frame rate. So e.g. 2 times 25 FPS is 50. Okay. If I bring it lower, then you'll actually start finding jaggedness within my footage. Just a slight jaggedness, and that's because it's doing it every 25. It's not as smooth. The higher I go, if you go out, so for example, if this was on 60, you start finding, with the movement, you'll start finding lines in that. It starts getting choppy. The higher you go, the more smoother your movement goes, etc. And if your frame rate is too low, so I found if I had this on 25, my tracking would fail, right? It would battle, and that's, I think it's specifically because one frame, for example, if you're tracking the tip of my finger, one frame will be on the tip of my finger, and then the next frame it'll be too far, and therefore the tracker cannot find it. But when it's smooth, the next frame your finger will be quite close. It's close to frames per second, but it's not. But anyway, I found when I brought that to 50, it would be beautiful. So check your frames per second on your camera. All right. The other thing that I did is, because I did quite advanced tracking, like in a lot of movement, and when it failed and I was battling with it, I tried some simple movements, maybe just a pan across, maybe just a tilt, and what I found was when I used my wide angle lens, I did battle, and I'm sure there are some options within Blender to help you with the lens distortion. I then used my normal standard lens that comes with the camera, your Canon camera, which is the 18 to 55. Yes, it's the 18 to 55. I came right, but then I tried the frames per second, so I think that might have fixed it. But however, saying that, I've never tried my wide angle lens again. I've got a 10mm wide angle, and I've never tried it again because I was coming right. Okay, and then there are other settings that I've had a look at in Blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track a small piece that I've showed you, that I've tracked and I've added VFX to already, but I'm going to start basically from scratch with it. So let's go to Blender. Alright, so opening up Blender. Right, so let me just show you what I've gotten right. So this I actually filmed at a place called Gold Reef City in South Africa. Alright, I liked the statues here. Let me just quickly show you basically what it was. And you can see the stuff that I've added in. Don't worry about what's there and what's not there, but you can see how the 3D stuff that I've added in is perfectly in. Okay, and you can see